Shrinji, you can start now.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Salam Namaste. Came Cho Sasyakal and welcome to all our speakers, guests, and audience listening to me online today. I'm your host for the webinar. My name is Shireen Lakhani and I'm an entrepreneur from Australia, Sydney. I have received multiple awards last year in affiliation with being a member of Wiki NRI Council and for my business. So I thank President, Vice President, and all my fellow members for having me as part of this council. And special thanks to Anarji and Achulaji for giving me yet an opportunity to host the show for today. I understand we have all been here from different time zones and still have taken out our precious time to hear our great speakers who have been given an opportunity through Wiki and RI Council to be a part of this discussion today. Let's understand where Wiki NRI Council comes from. Wiki NRI Council was established based on the experience of all the Indian Ladies League and Wiki Economic Forum WEF, wherein women entrepreneurs have greatly benefited from women networking exchange and collaborations. As a national business center for women, Wiki further strengthens women entrepreneurship and boosts business through greater engagement with government institutions and global trade. Wiki enables fundamental changes in government policies, laws, and incentives with a view to robustify, encourage, and empower women in business, industry, and commerce across all sectors. Wiki NRI Council launched its digital sect on 10th of December, which was led by its national president, NRI Anar Mehta. Women across the globe took part in it. Collaborations and synergies were created. Future vision and mission were discussed. The council has been set up with an objective to enable, equip, and empower women within the communications industry. Let's meet the one and only President NRI Council and know a few details about her. Anar Mehta, National President NRI Council, Wiki highlighted on various benefiting schemes for women and also mentioned of Prime Minister Narendra Modi encouraging women empowerment through the scheme. She also mentioned on vision and mission of Women Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Anarji further mentioned in a quote of Michelle Obama, "There's no limit to what we as women can accomplish." She said she wants people to say that for she doesn't give up. She wants to inspire, connect, and empower women to change their world. Anar Mehta was born in USA and she is a founder of Srishti Bharat Foundation NGO. Further talked about Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme of government founder Srishti Bharat Foundation NGO. Anar Mehta is truly an inspiration for many young women. This cause is very close to her heart, gender equality, which she feels the vision and initiatives undertaken by Srishti Bharat. The organization firmly believes women consistently worshipped women and admired them as role models. Without going much more into detail, let me welcome Anar Mehta, President Wiki NRI Council to the stage. The stage is all yours, Anarji.
Thank you. Thank you, Shireen ji, for such a warm welcome. Good evening, lovely ladies from the different parts of the world. I'm really glad that all you can did make it. And thank you, Achla ji, for making it happen. Today we are going to discuss a very, very important topic, which is building economy that works for women, opportunities through G20 Summit. Today I will focus on a very precise topic, which is care infrastructure and livelihoods, which really help women to get empowered. Women-led development for faster pathways in achieving the UN SDGs and life nurturing economies. These are the two topics today we will discuss. The women-led development is one of the main priorities of India's G20 presidency and a cross-cutting theme across all engagement groups. Economically empowering women and closing the gender gap is an important driver to achieving Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development Goals. Research has shown us that when women are economically empowered, it has a multiplier effect on their households and societies, leading to gains in health, education, outcomes, upward mobility, and more dignified living for them. When women work, economies grow. However, a large numbers of working women are in informal employment. That is 58% globally and 67.5 in developing and emerging economies taken together. For women to be truly economically empowered, states will need to ensure a very sustainable livelihood by creating opportunities and the right conditions for their full employment and entrepreneurship. The care sector, which I told you we are going to focus today, the care sector is growing rapidly and creating work opportunities for women. At the same time, the care is a barrier to women's work participation. The data highlights a huge gender gap with 42% of working age women being outside the paid labor force in comparison to 6% of men, largely due to unpaid care burdens borne by women. This is according to the Oxfam report 2020. Women have primary responsibilities toward care and lack of adequate care infrastructure, including access to basic services, impacts their participation in the workforce. Financing for robust care infrastructure, especially childcare, healthcare, and elderly care, is crucial, especially for more vulnerable women in the informal economy. A particular issue for women in the South is the time burden for securing clean water and sanitary living conditions. An important component of the envisioned care infrastructure has to be the provisioning of clean water and sanitization, as well as access to affordable and quality primary health care. As indicated its name, women-led development. It is clear that ensuring women as a beneficiary is not advocate. Women must be involved in decision-making processes, in identifying development priorities, designing inventions, and interventions, and implementing and monitoring development programs. All proposed policy must be examined through a gender lens. It is the only way women will form a part of the development agenda in a way which is equal and just. In 2012, at the G20 Mexico Summit, member countries committed to taking concrete steps to enable the full participation of women in economic and social processes. This was followed by 2013 summit when the member countries were dedicated to focusing on access to financial services for women. The Brisbane Action Plan, which put front and center the goal to reduce the gender gap in labor force participation rates by 25% by 2025, was agreed to by the leaders in 2014. This focus on women culminated in the formation of the Women 20 Engagement Group in 2015. Issues affecting women have since also been discussed in the Civil 20 and other working groups of the G20. There is need to keep up the momentum, the journey of women's empowerment has taken through G20 process. Now I'll focus on the livelihoods, which I talked previously. Women's work in the informal economy is underreported and undervalued. For women's economic contribution to be truly visible, measurement through the labor force surveys need to take into account economic activity such as women's home-based part-time work, work in the family firms, etc. Large-scale, regular and gender aggregated data is necessary for targeted interventions and monitoring progress. Skill development programs need to be designed to take practical constraints women face in the job market into consideration, which includes issues of transport, safety, and responsibility towards care work. The skill development ecosystem needs to be reviewed and reoriented. Women need to be trained on site with recognition of prior learning, reskilling and upskilling with certification at every level is very crucial for women who are often employed as helpers and ancillary workers. With ecosystem shifts and opportunity being created in STEM, enrollment of women in educational programs for STEM must translate into jobs. Agriculture is also a major employer of women. Women represent 37.1% of agriculture workers globally, with the share increasing to over 50% in several low and middle income countries of Asia and Africa, as per report of FAO 2022. In reality, this figure would be a lot higher if we take into account the hidden work of women in agriculture. As a consequence of not being primary producers, women are unable to access quality inputs, which includes technology, knowledge, and markets. Agriculture policy across the global south need to change to recognize women as farmers, even if the land is not in their names. This will allow agriculture itself to be more productive. Women owned micro enterprise, this is very important, are mostly nano sized and do not have access by the means required for the growth. In India, they form 20% of total enterprise, with over 90% of the women owned enterprise having an annual turnover of under $12,000. To promote women entrepreneurship, it is important to invest in women's entrepreneurship incubators and accelerators, institution for mentoring and business support services. In India, 90% of the women enterprises also do not access formal credit development fund is essential, which helps in bridging institutions in women to become more credit willing and credit ready need to be created and strengthened. This institution can also build women's capacities to use digital technologies to strengthen backward and forward linkages. Digital technology have become a very necessary part of the world of work, with increasing job opportunities for women which are hybrid or online, such as gig or platform economy work. However, the same gender biases can be found in these new forms of work, with women employed in low value precarious conditions where they are invisible without protections or readdressal mechanisms in place. Platforms, corporations should contribute to a pool of funds used for robust social protection architecture for women employed in this sector. There is also need to advance towards educating women in data analytics, machine learning, and the use of AI. For women, To be able to avail this opportunity, the gender digital divide needs to be addressed with a focus on improving digital literacy and capacity building in the use of digital technologies. Now, I'll focus on the last topic, which is care infrastructure. There is a growing need which women can be empowered. There is a growing need for more accessible, equitable, gender inclusive care infrastructure in emerging economies. Financing for care infrastructure needs to be made a priority in the agenda for the G20 leaders, without which women led development will not be sustainable, and real an agenda for G20 leaders without which women-led development will not be sustainable and realistic goal would not be attained. This needs to be addressed through partnerships for development across all the sectors that need sustainable infrastructures pushes, ideally led by South cooperation and new age development financing. There are over 130 million elderly in India today, yet very little emphasis on elderly care, leading to a heavier burdens on women, keeping them out of the workforce. Data shows that several non-communicable diseases and age-related neurological disorders and diseases such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's are on the rise and increasing the burden of work for caregivers. All community health centers and hospitals should be required to reserve an appropriate number of beds for the elderly. There is also need to institute universal social pensions to provide a financial safety net for those no longer capable of earning an income. The lack of basic social infrastructure is a crucial barrier impacting women's productivity. Similarly, a poor primary healthcare impacts women's productivity because of their own poor health care work around their health care for all members of the household and financial spending on healthcare. The COVID crisis made clear the social and economic cost of health shocks on women's lives. To help women overcome such health shocks and become resilient, buffer interventions are required, such as direct income support and provisioning of family and child benefits. The remit of the gender responsive social protection and security system need to be increased in terms of advocacy and coverage. Furthering the agenda of women led development, this is the last one, building on the Brisbane Action Plan, which marked a commitment to improving women's workforce participation in the G20 India presidency. We are centering women led development and are chartering pathways towards achieving SDGs. We expect this theme to find a permanent place in the G20 as a priority this year and be further developed during the upcoming Brazilian and South African G20 presidencies. Thank you so much. And I'm really eager in listening to my fellow sisters. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anarji, for your remarks and an exemplary inspiration for all the women across the globe. And you are really a role model for all of us. So thank you so much. Next to our president, let's meet our vice president, who has also given her full potential and her time towards the empowerment of women. Ms. Achala Bhupendra is a society and environment consultant by profession and a social worker by passion. She is the chairperson of Sustainable Future Foundation, which works to promote sustainable initiatives and global compliance reporting standards as professional activities, along with several other non commercial activities. At social level, she is the vice president of Bharati Bhasha Samvedan Sansthan. Apart from that, she is also a national vice president of Wiki NRI Council at Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, where she works to inspire, connect, and empower women to change their world. Her main motto is to create a sustainable ecosystem where a women can show their leadership in balancing both personal and professional. She has been recognized by several organizations for her work done to bring changes to lives of many and provide them the right guidance to achieve their own life goals throughout her life. Even though she keeps traveling between Dubai and India, she is connected at grassroots level in India and spends considerable time in supporting all her causes. Welcome, Achla ji, and thank you for all the things which you do, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be on stage with you today. Let's hear from me a bit about today's topic. So, today we're going through building economies that work for women opportunities through the G20 Summit. The delegates of Women W20, a new engagement group under the auspices of the G20 to advance the economic empowerment of women, gathered in Istanbul on 16th and 17th October 2015 for the first ever W20 Summit. After 2 days, thorough consultations on the gender related aspects of the global economy, the delegates put forward a set of policy recommendations to support the G20 leaders in the ongoing work to achieve gender equality and empowerment. Let's not get much into the details about it, and let's go forward and meet our first keynote speaker, Mrs. Deepti Singh. She's from Egypt. Let's firstly congratulate her on being appointed as the first president of ICAE, is a platform which is driven by the interest and involvement of our incredible and engaged Indian community in Egypt. Congratulations, Deepti ji, from all of us here today.
Thank you very
Deepti
much.
ji was born in India and completed. You're most welcome. Deepti ji was born in India and completed her bachelor's in engineering, University of Pune, and business management from American University of Cairo. Is a various ancient Indic scriptures and is fluent in Hindi, Sanskrit, English, and Arabic. She has been a resident of Egypt for over 20 years and was heading of physics department in Royal College, Cairo. Being main African and science enthusiastic, she is regularly invited as a public speaker on topics like science behind C-films, EQ vs IQ habits, today's and tomorrow's technology, feminism and cultural leadership skills, etc. She's also been invited times by Egyptian television networks for talks on similarities between Egyptian and Indian culture. So without waiting anymore, let's hear more from Deepti ji. Deepti ji, the stage is all yours.
Namaskar to all the fellow speakers, Anarji, Achalaji, Shireen and all the other speakers, and the people who are listening to us. Thank you very much for having me over on this amazing platform of Wiki NRI. Today's topic is fundamentally, beautifully, encapsulated by Anarji already. That what is the theme and what are we going to talk about? But let's pursue further. In the pursuit of, when we are talking about the global economic growth and sustainable development, it's very imperative to ensure the full and equal potential and participation of women. Women, we all know, that constitutes, kind of 50% of world's population, and yet they continue to face numerous barriers that hinder their economic empowerment and ability to contribute completely, fully to the society. And recognizing this importance of women economic participation, this G20 summit serves as a very crucial platform to address these challenges and build an inclusive economy that works for women. The theme for G20 India is presenting the G20 summit, and a beautiful theme it has been. They have kept it as one Earth, one family, one future, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I'm just remembering one Sanskrit shloka and I would like to say it. Ayam nijah paroveti ganana lavuchetasam. Udara Charitanato, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So this is the way India always perceived life and India always perceived the universe. Now, if we talk about India's vision, since we are India being the host of G20, India's vision, it's very well encapsulated in our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi's remark in G20 Summit in Bali, and he said that the global development is not possible without women's participation. And to add on, there is a substantial evidence to support that with increased and internet and mobile penetrations, female entrepreneurship has scaled substantially in India with an estimated 13.5 to 15.7 million, including MSMEs and agribusinesses. It has more women-oriented or women-owned enterprises compared to many other countries. And the G20 Empower 2023, India's presidency is prioritizing the shift from women's. I just love the way it has this shift is beautiful. It is shifting from women's development to women-led development, and it aims to transform the challenges into opportunities, and it accelerates the shift towards women-led entrepreneurship and greater inclusion of women in workforce. There are quite many challenges for women, we all know, to come in this social business or entrepreneurship. And there are few challenges I'm going to point out and how are we working and how can G20 Summit help us. The first challenge I personally think is a financial inclusion. So that needs to be enhanced. And one of the this can be the key avenue of promoting women's economic empowerment. If we talk about financial inclusion, this needs to be enhanced. Women often faces limited access to financial services, credits, capitals, which constrains their ability to start or expand business. And for India to achieve this SDG 5, which is gender equality, the Indian government has taken extraordinary measures, including Stand Up India, PM Mudra Yojana, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Poshan Abhiyan, increasing the scope of entrepreneurship among women. Self-help groups have helped to boost women's skills and promote women-led entrepreneurship. Pradhan Mantri Dhana Yojana have addressed one of the primary challenges faced by women-led business or credit gaps and provided area to financial services, such as saving accounts, need-based leading, remittance services, insurance, pension, etc. The next point I think, which is very important to think about, is the supporting women's entrepreneurship. Women have immense potential, definitely. No one questions that, to drive economic growth, job creation, and innovation. And this G20 summit can facilitate knowledge exchange and cooperation among member countries to create an enabling environment for women's entrepreneurship by establishing networks, mentorship programs, funding mechanisms. And this G20 can unlock opportunities for women to start and scale their businesses, stimulating economic growth and possibly fostering innovations. The third and next point I feel is investment in education and skill training is important. We need to promote Indian government, and all the G20 countries are promoting this, and which will empower definitely women to pursue high quality, as Anarji, I believe, mentioned, quality jobs and contributing to crucial sector by learning or studying STEMs fields for economic advancement. The most important thing which I feel all of us women find is work-life balance and gender equality policies. So balancing the work-life responsibility remains always a significant challenge for women. And this summit will possibly promote the adoption of policies that support work-life balance, such as affordable childcare, parental leave, flexible working hours, work arrangements, and uh, you know gender equality system in workplace, and advocating the policies which promotes diversity and inclusion. uh, Women's entrepreneurship development requires quite many things. It requires an economical, political, social, and cultural context that recognizes that celebrates women as a social and economic agents, and which supports the diversity of women as business creators, owners, leaders, and all types of businesses, all types of work services, market opportunities, and by identifying these conditions requiring specific, I believe, attention, stakeholders such as government, employers, organization, women entrepreneurship association, private and public financial and business development service providers, and development actors are better able to design, advocate for, and implement policies and programs in favor of women as entrepreneur or as a business owner. And to amplify the distribution opportunities, resources, and choices for women, nations have to embark upon the journey to provide these key drivers to development with improved access of basic amenities, first of all, focused investment in employment and skill development, and definitely gender equivalent or gender inclusive possibility. Um, W20, Women 20, which is engagement group of G20, it prioritizes the areas include women entrepreneurship. It focuses more on grassroots women leadership, bridging the gender digital divide, education and skill development, climate change, and additionally, it also addresses the normative constraints which are faced by women as a core lever essential to, I would say, catalyze the meaningful change. And the inclusive of all developments acted as a critical driver of India G20 presidency, uh, which I believe is a visionary gene to enable women and foster changes at the grassroots. Um, the W20 is also accommodating key stakeholders for rural areas, agricultures, as the previous speaker was talking, handicraft sectors, micro and nano enterprises, SHG, self-help groups, agricultures, Anganwadi, along with adults and girls, women living in urban slums, and homemakers, just to ensure the intersectional, I would say, intersectional representation. Thus, the India's G20's presidency is going. I hope, I believe, and I really want to believe that it's going to play a pivotal role in driving collaboration and giving further impetus to women's economic growth, empowerment, and thus it will be an opportune time for all of us women, uh, to shed light on best practices adopted by countries for gender discrimination and gender mainstream, and act as a game changer in fostering women's economic growth all over the world or across the globe. And I would finish my talk with one Sanskrit shloka again, which says, Rashtrasya Shwa Adhyanari Asti. Tomorrow and today's countries tomorrow and countries today is a woman. Thank you very much for having me over. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, Deepti ji. It was really, really, really a great thing to know about the challenges and how it can be overcome and what can be the process and policies which can be basically used in the empowerment of women moving forward. So thank you so much. Let's keep the ball rolling. Without waiting a second, let's keynote speaker, first time with us on this platform, Let's welcome Ashraf Nurani on the stage. Ashraf Nurani has opened up an educational endeavor, organizational profile, educational endeavors. It's an enterprise founded in the year 2015 by Ashraf Nurani. The firm provides diversified services in the field of education. This includes continuous professional development for teachers, parenting programs through the medium of parenting workshops, as well as parent mentoring and coaching programs, curriculum development for preschools and primary schools in quality assurance, and guidance in education or school improvement programs. Her mission is to provide access to quality education to all children around the world and transform schools into growing, learning, and contributing communities through her initiatives and endeavors. Educational and academic background: Ashraf Narani holds a Master in Pedagogy and Assessment from the Institute of Education, University College London. She has received the prestigious J.N. Tata Endowment Scholarship in 2013 to study in London and is in I.N. Tata Scholar. She holds a bachelor degree in psychology from Mumbai University, India, and has undertaken a postgraduate diploma in Mumbai. She is a certified professional teacher, educator from the Aga Khan University Institute of Educational Development, AKU IED, pursued in United Arab Emirates in a multicultural context and colleagues from 14 different countries around the world, including Canada, USA, Tajikistan, India, Pakistan, Syria, Russia, Nairobi, and United Kingdom. So she has got vast knowledge, I should say. So let's go ahead and hear from her out. Ashraf, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. I trust that all of you are able to hear me.
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
You are. I'm going to present my slides. When the organizers of the conference invited me for this conference to be a keynote speaker, I started thinking that the conference is on women led development, and I'm an educator, I'm an educationist, and having the opportunity to have a voice to contribute to this conference, I would like to make recommendations for the girl child. For the W20 agenda, I would like to make recommendations for policy for reformers, for educators, for parents in the education sector so that we can make a difference to the lives of the girl child. And that's what I'm going to focus on through the presentation. I am sharing my slides. Please just let me know whether these are visible.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Mm,
Yeah, it's
sorry.
visible.
It's visible because I can't see them.
No, but we can see.
Oh, so how do I
Even
move
you
forward?
are when you are visible properly. Please go ahead.
All right, fabulous. Thank you so much. All right. So, can we move to the next slide, please? Mm, sorry. Oh, all right. So that's how we go about it. This platform is new for me. So, thank you for bearing with me. All right, I get it. All right. So, as I mentioned, I'm going to focus on policy reforms and ideas for the education sector to be able to drive the agenda for W20 to influence the lives of the girl child. All right. So now what are the objectives of my session? I am going to take you through a process which is going to be thought provoking. I'm going to ask some tough questions. All right. And I want you to reflect on it not only in your personal life but also observe in your surroundings, your environment. How are things going in your environment as far as the status of women is concerned, as far as the status of the girl child is concerned, and what their rights and responsibilities are. I will also share some exemplars, I will share some ideas and case studies which can, I trust, will be inspiration and ideas for you to be able to integrate in your respective countries and take back home. I will also be making some recommendations, as I mentioned, for education policymakers, parents, and educators. All right. Now, what I'd like you to do is I want you to do a small exercise for me. If you have a paper and a pen around with you, I would just like you to quickly write down, when it comes to you as a woman, all right, I want you to write down your responsibilities on one side and your rights and your privileges on the other side. All right. Can you quickly do that? I'm going to just give you 15 seconds to be able to do that. And I can see people writing. I appreciate that. All right. Are you done? Just let me know with a thumbs up that you're done. Your rights. Okay. Your privileges on one side, what you receive on one side, and on the other side, your responsibilities. And if you're done, I'd like you to do the same thing for the boys and the men in your environment. Their rights, their privileges, what they receive, and on the other hand, I want you to write their responsibilities. I want you to keep your hand on your heart and share with yourself and reflect yourself. Is there a stark difference in what you receive as an individual and what your rights and privileges are, and the ones that are given to boys and men? Are there differences in your environment? And let's be honest about it. The intention behind this realization is to be able to figure out solutions and bring about changes and transformation. All right. So let's move to the next exercise. I'm going to ask some real tough questions to you now. I'm going to share with you a checklist, and I want you to tick mark or put a, statistical mark on your sheet if this is applicable to you. All right. So in your life, have you had access to primary and secondary and higher education? Whoever the audience is, when you're watching it online, I would like you to do the exercise simultaneously with us as we go forward. All right. The second thing is, have you had access to vocational training and skill development programs? Yes or no? All right. And did you have the choice to choose your study of specialization? Like, what do you want to study and educate as far as your higher education is concerned if you received it? All right. The next one is the fourth one. Did you have a choice for your profession, your work, or your business? Yes or no? When you made a choice. All right. Next one is, are you financially literate? All right. Do you know how to use the banking system, how to do investments, how to get into stocks, all those kind of things? All right. Are you financially independent? Yes or no? Do you have a source of income or a source of passive income? The next one. All right. Then, do you own a house of your own in your own name? Srimati Smriti Irani mentioned this, that are we teaching our girls that they should get a property or a capital investment for themselves, say by the age of 25 or 30, so that they are secure? And I thought this is a very important question to ask ourselves. Do we have a house in our own name? A place where we can securely stay? All right. Okay. Do you have a retirement plan or an old age plan? Like, how are you going to manage your life when you get old? Next one is, do you have medical and health insurance? And how much, of course, you can write that down for yourself. Okay. Do you have nutritional needs that are met? Like, do you eat nutritive food regularly, or you eat the leftovers or whatever's available? All right. Because we have a diverse audience who would be watching from around the world. So that's why I'm widening the spectrum. Do you drive a car or ride a bike, or you travel independently? Because we know there are countries around the world where women don't drive. All right. Do you have freedom of speech and self-expression in your house and your environment and your workspace? Anarji is wondering, kitne questions hai? How many more? A few more. Okay. Did you choose your own life partner? All right. Family planning. Did you have a choice in your family planning? Do you? Anarji, I'm sorry, I can't take verbal responses at the moment, but I can see you speaking, so I know you're participating. Do you have the freedom to make decisions for yourself and your own life or things that affect you? Do you have an inclusion in the family will or inheritance? Do you have a smartphone or a laptop? Do you have access to the internet or the World Wide Web? Because remember, we are talking about the digital divide as well. All right. I wish we could do a poll and find out about this. But it's a very interesting thing that our India Sherpa emissary, the G20 emissary, Mr. Amitabh Kant, he shared this during one of his interviews, and I'd like you to hear him personally. So I am going to play the video now. Please let me know whether you can hear me.
We can't hear it yet. Just hold on. I'll add it at I'll do add to the stream now. 1 minute.
Sure.
Okay, no.
Shall I play it again?
Try again. Uh-huh. It's not actually audible. Do you receive the message of adding the volume as well before sharing this video or not?
Not really.
Okay. Or
So
else, or else you can share the link and the people can watch later on.
there are certain videos that I really want them to watch.
Let
Achana
me
ji.
ask technical team if they can help us in that.
Sure. While they do that, I'm going to
Yeah.
summarize what Mr. Amitabh Kant said. Just give me a moment. He said, according to a report by the World Economic Forum, it will take us 132 years to bring parity between men and women. Do we have that luxury? Do we have that kind of time? We don't. All right. So that's the reason it's important that we make interventions now. And all you wonderful people from different walks of life, different professional expertise, I see you making recommendations for the woman, for the adult woman of today, in your workspaces, in governance, in different sectors of professions. I would like to make recommendations to bring in this parity at the girl child level in the education sector. And I'm making some recommendations for that. All right. So let's move to the next slide and see what are some of the recommendations that I would like to make. As I mentioned, these are four different ministries of women and child development. These recommendations for education ministries. Oh, sorry. Can you go back to the other slide? Yeah. And these are for educators, school leaders, academia, researchers, parents, and policymakers. Now, we know that the identified priorities for the W20 are this is something Dr. Anar has also highlighted, that empowering women in nano, micro, and startup enterprises, women being change makers in climate resilience action, women being in leadership roles at the grassroots levels, women being in, being able to get education and skill development opportunities, and we also bridge the digital divide. All right, but we need to start early. We cannot wait until they get into their adult life to make these interventions. And that's what my recommendations are all about. Now, what are some of the suggestions that I'm making? I think that many of you would have heard about the What Women Want campaign, which was initiated by White Ribbon Alliance in India, where they sent around 150,000 women across India postcards asking them what do they want in their life, in different areas of their life, their healthcare, their relationships, what do they want? All right. And they came up with basic things like, I want a bed for myself. I want to be respected when I'm delivering my fifth child, and I'm looked down upon. All right, these are basic things that they sought respect, they sought equality, they sought equality in resources. All right, so can we give a voice to women in our environments, in our countries, in our schools, in our education system, at our homes, where we give them an opportunity to share what they want? And that's why I'm suggesting, let's start the initiative, what girls want, what the girl child wants in our school environment and in different sectors around us. Let's ask them at home, what do they want? All right, as far as equality between different genders is concerned, about their rights are concerned, let's start and initiate these discussions and these reflections at home and at school. The next recommendation that I have is, let's start designing inclusive schools and homes. All right. A very interesting thing that the United Nations Fund for Population Representatives suggested at the W20 Summit. She spoke about the gender transformative approach. All right, where she said that we need to change the hearts and minds of people regarding how they perceive themselves as women and as men. And we will need to bring about this transformation in the thought process of men as well, as to how they perceive women. All right, you will be aware that there are so many gender stereotypes and gender biases that we pick up at a very early age in childhood. All right. So, can we make interventions in the school environment where these gender stereotypes and biases children are made aware of and made to question? And they're made to break these gender stereotypes. And I want to share a very beautiful example from a school context regarding this. Do we have the technical team being able to support us now for the volume, Achala ji?
Yeah, they say that if you can share the video, save the video, then they can play it. Because, but if you do directly from the YouTube uh, on the window, then they cannot add it. The volume can't be added right now. Otherwise, it will take some
Uh,
time. Yeah. If you have downloaded the video, you can send me and then I can share it. That's not an issue.
Oh, unfortunately, I haven't downloaded the video.
Yeah.
So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you a voiceover to explain
Yeah,
what's happening in the video. All right.
that can
So,
be
you
done.
can
Yeah.
see and you can make an association. I'm sure, I'm confident that you'll be able to make sense of it. All right. So, now, at school, in this early childhood setup, the children have been requested to draw a firefighter. All right. So, they asked now to draw a surgeon. And you will be surprised to know that majority of the children are rescue operation professional. That was the third thing that they were asked to draw. And it's no surprise that majority of the children drew the firefighter as a man, drew the doctor, the surgeon as a man. All right, they have these stereotypes, they don't associate women taking up these jobs. And finally, towards the end of the class, they invited women who are professionals in these fields to break those stereotypes. Can we integrate activities like that? Can we integrate ideas like that into our classrooms so that we can break these gender stereotypes? All right, another beautiful video, I wish I could show this to you, but okay, let me give you a voiceover to be able to explain this as well. All right, this is about STEM education and how we tend to bring in science, technology, engineering and mathematics associated only with boys. All right, and this is a video to break that stereotypes, and it's beautiful. I'll give you a voiceover. You can read the subtitles as well. Did you notice what happened? In each of the instances, we integrated and we developed gender stereotypes in our children from a very young age. The girl wanted to dress up for a special occasion and wanted to become an astronaut. And the mother said, everybody else is going to be dressed up as a princess. The girl tried to help her father for repairing the car, and he said, no, your clothes will become dirty. All right. So do you notice, and we want our children to start becoming aware of this since an early age. So this is about inclusive schools and how we can integrate gender parity in our schools. All right. Another recommendation that I have that, one of the previous speakers has spoken about is entrepreneurship education and life skill development. All right, integrating this into our education system, because we want our children, our girl child especially, our teenagers, our boys and girls both, to know, to develop certain entrepreneurial skills. We want them to have negotiation skills so that tomorrow when they go for a job and they're signing a contract, they can negotiate their salary. They can negotiate when they're cracking a deed with a client. All right, we want to develop their leadership skills. We want to develop their team building skills, building their own team, collaboratively working with that team, making decisions. I remember when I was studying at the AKU IED in Dubai, they had invited a chief ethicist from the Aga Khan Hospital, and he taught us a decision-making tool which I had never learned in my life. I've never really been taught how to make decisions in life. And in fact, I've been so told since childhood, no, you'll make a mistake. Ask me, ask the adults, ask the grown-ups what can be done. Consult us, because you're not trusted to make your own decisions independently. Can we introduce decision-making skills for our children in the education system? Practicing autonomy, making our own choices for our life. What toy I want to use, what clothes I want to wear, whether I want to go out, which profession I want to choose, whom I want to mix up with, who are my friends going to be. And lastly, confidence building and self-esteem. It's been my observation that generally the greed of power and control is rooted in insecurity. Can we develop confidence and self-esteem in our men so that they are not insecure and try to bring down women? And can we build up enough confidence in our women so that they can speak up for themselves and express their thoughts, their feelings, their ideas, their emotions? And we need to do that for the girl child at the school level. All right. Another recommendation that I have is, giving them case studies, sharing with them success stories of women who are leading other women, other teams. All right. We are talking about women-led development, and a wonderful example has been shown by Flipkart in Assam. All right. And I'm going to briefly just show it to you just to mention about it. This is a women led team. The leadership is women, the team members are women. A dream project where women are leading all throughout. No gender stereotype based roles. All right. They are doing operations, they are doing planning, they are doing execution. The leadership is a woman, the leader is a woman. All right. Can we give them case studies and examples for that for our children? Another recommendation that I have is integrating environmental education into the curriculum. All right. We want women to get into climate action. We want them to lead climate action change in the conditions of our planet. And for that, we need to start educating them earlier on by integrating environmental education into our curriculum. I have a published paper by the Annamalai University. It's available on an online platform. And anyone interested in knowing how this can be done, please get in touch with us. You're more than welcome to share ideas with you regarding integration of environmental education into the curriculum. Thank you very much. On that note, I am going to share here is a link, a resource, which is the official link to the W20 India Summit and report. There's some wonderful videos, wonderful resources, the entire communique and the report of the W20 Summit. Please do go through it. And here are my contact details. You can get in touch with me whenever you want any resource or ideation for integration of these ideas. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashraf, for sharing your recommendations and views. They were exemplary, outstanding. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. It
Thank
was
you for bearing me
great,
for
great
with the
knowing all about
technological.
it. And just
All right.
just to let everyone know,
Your
all
voice is
good.
taking a
Just
while
on
to
a
reach
smaller note, I
us.
would like everyone to the same community. We are Aga Khadi Smileys, and she has taken us through all the fields of from where she has studied the Aga Khan Education University, Aga Khan Health. So I'm really honored to have her here today, and thank you so much for accepting this invitation, Ashraf.
Thank you, Shirin, and thank you for to the audiences for bearing
So
the
let's keep
technological
going. Let's
challenge.
welcome our first guest speaker, Sunita ji. Sushmita ji is the Director, Products and Services of a business consulting firm, CEO and Director of a high jewelry brand she co-founded. She is well-known business strategist and ambassador. She understands the strength of the human mind in achieving the impossible and surviving life's adversaries with determination. She likes to live life by authenticity and purpose and is a free spirit who values humanity and has been engaging and contributing to its several humanitarian causes and initiatives in partnership with global institutions. She is committed to sustainable future initiatives and participates in several talk shows and workshops which aim to embrace, create awareness, and reaches out for innovative ideas in achieving the UN Sustainable Goals 2030. She also voiced strongly on gender equality and women empowerment. Without waiting a second, let me get Sushmita ji on the stage and let's hear more from her. Sushmita ji, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Sriniji. Thank you, Achalaji and Anarji, for inviting me to speak again and join you on this forum today on women's economic contributions and how we can, all work towards bringing up initiatives in our respective areas and respective countries to focus on the G20 goals for women today. Thank you, Deepti ji and Ashraf ji, also for the wonderful sharing of knowledge. It was really nice to come to know about so many interesting areas from you as well. I would like to start, refocus on the G20 under India's presidency in 2023. It's a proud moment for all Indians. The message of Shri Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji as one earth, one family, one future, while Vasudeva Kutumbakam, which Deepti ji also mentioned. The key discussion of focus for today is building economies that work for women. As Mr. Narendra Modi's first message that went out to the G20 countries in his speech is it is up to the custodians of the leading economies and monetary systems of the world to bring back stability, confidence, and growth to the global economy. Focus your discussions on the most vulnerable citizens of the world, and women are vulnerable citizens of the world till today. The G20 Empower 2023 under India's presidency, the vision of the G20 Empower is to be the most inclusive and action driven alliance among businesses and governments to accelerate women's leadership and empowerment across the G20 countries. As we know that in November 2022, Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji accepted the G20 presidential baton from Indonesia and declared that India will give priority to women-led development in its agenda, advocate gender equality and women's empowerment. He has pioneered this concept and passionately championed and driven action in India and international forums, as we have all witnessed. He sees women's participation and leadership as indispensable for national and global sustainable development. He also believes that women's economic, social, political, technological, educational, skilling and digital, workforce, and entrepreneurial empowerment and freedom from violence must enable that leadership. Now, as we see that how is the W20 also linked with the G20 focus? As Deepti ji also mentioned, the W20 is the official G20 engagement group for the G20, which was formed in 2015, as we all know, under Turkey's presidency for the G20. W20 works to ensure that gender considerations are mainstreamed into G20 conversations and discussions and translated into the G20 leaders' declarations as policies and commitments that foster gender equality and women's economic empowerment. W20 under India's presidency is focused on actualizing Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of women led development, with the vision to create a world of equality and equity where every woman lives with dignity and where every woman gets the opportunity to thrive and transcend and transform their lives and those of others. In G20 Empower 2023, let me just quickly share a few slides with all of you so that we can, retain some of the information. Just let me know once you can you see it? Am I audible?
Yes, Sushmita, you are audible, but we cannot see the slides. Can you share it again by clicking the present option and slides?
Do I have to share it with you, the presentation, or
Yes.
if I share it here, can you see it
Yeah,
now?
yeah. Now it's here. Let me add it. 1 minute. Yes.
Okay. So the G20 Empowered 2023 under India's presidency, we have seen a prioritizing shift from women's development to women-led development. It aims to transform challenges into opportunities, accelerating the shift towards women-led entrepreneurship and greater inclusion of women in the workforce. The three focus areas for the 2023 agenda is women's entrepreneurship, a win-win for equity and economy, creating a global partnership for promoting India women's leadership across all levels, including grassroots. Education, the game changing pathway to women's empowerment. So these are the three focus areas, and these are all enabled through digital skilling, cutting across all three focus areas. The Empower message for 2023 is Yatra Nariyastu Pujayante Ramante Tatra Devata, meaning when women are honored, divinity blossoms there. Now let's look at the focus area one. There is a growing recognition among world leaders that women entrepreneurs are making significant contributions to the global economy and society. Globally, an estimated 274 million women are involved in business startups, in addition to 139 million women owners, managers of established businesses, and 144 million informal women investors. Promoting women's entrepreneurship is significant because it increases women's access to income. It is a foundation for women's economic empowerment. It leads to overall economic growth of a nation. It is crucial for achievement of substantial equality. It increases total number of entrepreneurs and labor force participation. So the focus area identified this year is women's entrepreneurship, a win-win for equity and economy. To address the unique barriers faced by women entrepreneurs, a multi-pronged approach is envisaged through mentoring and capacity building, engendering markets and financing, scaling up innovative plans. Focus area 2. Women's equal participation and representation in local decision-making processes is critical for the prioritization of their differential needs and for localizing the sustainable development goals. Women's representation in local deliberative bodies is higher than in national parliaments today, but there is still a lingering gender gap. Of the 6.02 million elected members in deliberative bodies of local governments, only 2.18 million are women, which is 36%. Only 20 countries have reached over 40% women in local decision making bodies. And an additional 28 countries have women's representation between 30% and 40%. So we have a long road to cover. Partnerships to promote women's leadership at all levels is the focus area for the G20 Empower 2023. Creating a global partnership for promoting women's leadership is significant for improving nutrition and health delivery, promoting digital and financial inclusion, increasing women's overall labor force participation, and access to public amenities resources, promoting women in governance roles, enhancing women's public and political representation. Focus area 3. Education is the critical link between women's empowerment and their equal workforce participation. Ashraf Ji has highlighted a lot about women education and the girl child education today. Specifically, education in STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, has a significant impact on women's earning capacities. Currently, 49% of member countries have achieved gender parity in primary education. 42% of member countries have achieved gender parity in local secondary education and 24% in upper secondary education. The SDG Goal 4 is to ensure inclusive and quality education for all and promote lifelong learning, is therefore an overarching goal for all G20 member countries. Education, the key to women's empowerment and equal workforce, is the focus area for the G20 Empower 2023 under SDG Goal 4. Education is critical for economic empowerment, improving employment outcomes, enabling women to take on leadership positions. There are a lot of challenges that the countries are facing at their own levels. and due to economic conditions, due to societal conditions, and due to a lot of perceived narratives which are still existing regarding women and their capabilities. However, we in our own areas are definitely taking a lot of actions as I experience through different forums and summits that I attend. Not only that, I mean, look at India, the way India is advocating women empowerment through the various women centric schemes and policies that Modi ji has implemented. At my level here from Dubai, the kind of initiatives and organization and local levels that we have undertaken, I would like to share a few of that. We have defined KPIs and also tools to measure the progress of the KPIs that we have defined, which focuses on women led development. The initiatives to advance and upskill women. Our professional development program is something that we have launched in our organization. We introduced a need based support around our leaders, both men and women, where we identify our leaders' strengths and we build a team around them that can complement the aspects that the leader is less strong in. We also make sure that they develop as an executive through engagement, participation, training, mentoring, and coaching. We also have another initiative called the Emerging Leaders Program. We constantly scan for emerging leaders and we put potential people in important roles. For example, shadowing the CEO in an important meeting. Ensure implementation of women empowerment KPIs is maximized within the organization. All business heads and business units work in tandem in hand with HR heads to ensure that these KPIs are being maximized within the organizations. A key point to make sure our women's advancement KPIs are fully implemented and tracked across the organization is to ensure that ownership and accountability are made clear for each manager. Each of our business units is assigned a target specific to that business unit. Each department may have a different starting point, and each department may have roles that are more technically compared to others. So it is important to tailor our goals and tracking for each department. A whole lot of work has gone through brainstorming sessions between heads, talent managers, HR managers, senior top level managers, executive levels of the organization to put in place this kind of initiatives and schemes. As an organization, we have achieved a 45% female representation with 50% female representation at the manager level. It's a commendable achievement considering that we are in an Islamic country. A bit about my motivation as to why I advocate for women empowerment opportunities. Having been given the opportunity to take up leadership, professional, and community roles in my life, I have experienced discrimination myself. And I have seen the inequity between men and women, especially capable women. This drove me to take action, use my voice, and get involved with SDGs, especially SDG 5, SDG 4, relevant several forums, summits as a speaker and representative. I'm also greatly influenced by my mother and several women leaders who has been advocate for gender equality globally in the past and in today's world. Thank you, and that's my contribution for the day.
Thank you so much, Sushmita ji, for the wonderful views, recommendations, and also sharing your life experiences. Thank you so much. Next,
Thank you,
let's
Shrini. Thank you,
keep
everybody.
going and welcome our next guest. Thank you so much, Sushmita ji. Now let's welcome our next guest speaker, none other than Padmaja ji. She's the director of Toyers Group, the Shilp store, Aksha Weaves. Padmaja ji is a senior retail textile professional having 26 years of experience in textile and retail world. She is one of the founder of the Shilp store and Aksha Weaves, supporting and focusing on the sustainable fashion. handloom weaves, and women empowerment initiatives, and is in the business that balance purpose of profit. She is keen endorser of sustainability among brands and retailers. A strong supporter of women's health, she is an active supporter of Breast Cancer Foundation of Singapore and India Vision Foundation initiative working for women empowerment. She is currently heading Ishtara Jewelry Pty Ltd as the head of marketing of Women's Wing and vice president of Kamala Club. Her strong involvement in the community services and grassroots organization over many years past enables her to understand a need and a requirement to play a key role in women's initiatives. A change maker herself who is working to inspire women around her to build a positive change and works towards a strong community of women contributing back to the nation building. So let's go ahead and hear more from Padmadadi about the empowerment of women. Padmadadi, the stage is all yours.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And it's really privilege. Can you all hear me? I'm so sorry to interrupt. Okay, great. It is really a privilege and honor to be there this evening among the distinguished keynote speakers like Deepti ji and Ashraf ji, who spoke so well about women empowerment. And along with me are like, I have known Achla ji, Narji from in Delhi, and they have been amazing women who always encourage women. And when I said I would like to contribute when this whole topic came in, they were the first ones to approve, and I'm so glad that I'm among the distinguished women, where before me Sushmita ji spoke so well, Dipali and Ashraf ji. It's honor again. And Shireen, you are the best moderator, I should say, connecting all of us, and you spoke so well about me, and I'm thank you for that. And along with that, you have introduced all the leading women for tonight. It's amazing to know each and every one. So not taking much time of you all today, uh, today I stand before you to discuss an important topic that deserves our attention and collective efforts: building economies that work for women. In pursuit of progress and equality, it is essential that we create an environment where women can thrive economically, empowering them to contribute fully to the society and unlocking the potential of half of our population globally. First and foremost, let us acknowledge that women who have historically faced significant challenges in the economic sphere: discrimination, unequal pay, limited access to finance and resources, and societal expectations have hindered their economic participation. However, we now have an opportunity and a moral imperative to address these barriers and create a more inclusive and equitable economy. To build economies that work for women, we must prioritize on the three key pillars. And I would say that access is the first one, opportunity, and as the distinguished guests who have spoken earlier than me emphasized more on the empowerment. So access, one second, sorry, one second. Access is the foundation upon which economic progress is built. Women must have equal access to the education, healthcare, and basic services. That is the basic thing which we all as human beings require. So these are the imperative things which I really focus on. We must bridge the digital divide and ensure the women have equal access to technology and internet, which are the basic things right now required for anyone. And I should say the Zoom and these links have during the COVID have really connected all of us globally. And very proud to say that today we have women who are contributing across the globe sitting in our um, rooms and talking about the empowerment. By providing these essential resources, we enable women to acquire the knowledge and skills needed to participate in the workforce, drive economic growth, So opportunity is the next vital pillar. Women should have equal opportunities for employment, leadership, and entrepreneurship. We must break down these barriers that prevent women from entering traditional male dominated fields and support their advancement into leadership positions. This requires creating inclusive workforces, implementing fair hire practices by the industries and businesses around the world, and promoting mentorship and sponsorship programs by fostering diversity and inclusivity. We can harness the unique perspectives and talents that women bring, leading to innovation and greater economic prosperity. And here, if when I am saying this, I myself is an example of, like, I can say I'm the fourth generation of women who have really given from the childhood the equality and the decisions to take my life forward. I have my grandmother, my great grandmother was during the British regimentation. She was even as a nutritionist, she was supplying, she was a contractor, she was a businesswoman, getting all the best things for her hospital, where she was as a contractor supplying and nutritious food. And her child was again well convented education. And my mother, she is a retired professor. She has contributed, and for 42 years plus she was educationalist, and she was a professor to many children, not only women or men. She has groomed them. She has she has given to many students who have really doing well in the world. And coming to me, I'm the fourth generation of women from the childhood, even though the parents, as we are in 50s, I'm in 50s. So as parents those days, they had their own dreams and vision of bringing their child to only putting them in the engineering or medicine. They were thinking that these are the two lucrative positions all over. But when I took a decision after my 12th to move out of my state where I was studying in Hyderabad doing my 12th. So when I was given, I got into St. John's Medical College in Bangalore. But in my home, every second person was a doctor. I wanted to break open the stereotypes. My father said, being a doctor, he said, why don't you go? And he was not that encouraging me. But, when I discussed with my mom, she said, she asked me to go immediately, and she helped me to move from south to north to do into a very lucrative fashion field, where Shireen ji has said that, I have done my master's in clothing and textiles, and I was in one of the leading universities those days in 90s, where Sushmita Sen, I can say proudly, one of the leading, even Milind Saman, they used to come to my Baroda University, MSU, where I can say the proud prodigy of our college and our university moved into NIFT centers across the India, apart from Delhi. So when I did my master's, I was everybody in my home were my mom gave me that empowerment. She said, go beta, go and do this. Why am I saying my own, taking my own example? So it is an, it is an, everybody can dream, every child, no matter gender. I don't believe in that. I have been I have taken that baton which my mom believed in. And I said okay, I went ahead immediately at 23. I went into Ministry of Textiles, where I was the pioneer in, I was posted in Ahmedabad, but I chose Hyderabad. And I went to Jute Service Center as an administrative officer, training 150 people, women and also men who were looking for jobs. We have identified, as an administrative officer, I have trained and groomed them. And we from jute was just a jute fiber, but we have trained them in different spheres like retail management, retail, how to we have groomed them into how to diversify jute and made into a beautiful garment. I was working with NCJD and NMJDC as like a very keen player supporting both these jute service center and the Ministry of Textiles. So we really, I can say proudly that I at the age of 23, this was my first job, and I was proudly taking this baton. And I believe that my mom gave me this independency to start my own life, not married, but I was working at training 150. It gave me so much of courage, and it gave me so much of independence to be what was my passion. It was really making me learn more, grow more, and also learn from the circumstances I was growing. And it, like if I say that over immediately I was married, I came from 26 years we have been in Singapore, and after 10 years into textile and clothing as a designer, merchandiser, and fashion educationalist, and training many girls here and women here, men here, I got an opportunity to work into a diamond industry where, like, this is it was men's job. Everybody from the staff to the higher level, everybody were men. It was a men's world. But when I got into opportunity among 20-30 people of my competitive people who, when they came in for job, I was shortlisted. I was like, when in the evening, when I was called into like to take the position, I was doubting myself, like at a one glance, like, diamonds are the we all know about 4Cs, diamonds, and 916 gold. I had, other than liking it or owning it, I never had any idea of heading the 38-year-old jewelry firm, which is very is one of the leading jewelers in Singapore. When I got this opportunity, I had doubted myself for a second. Then, I call when the director called me to say that they are giving me a job. I asked him, like, sir, do you think among 30 men, I was the only lady? He said, do you think I really fit into the job? He said, ma'am, I have gone through they were panelists. They have gone through everybody's profile, and they have gone through, during interviews, they have gone through everything. They said, like, you have the capacity to hold on to a jewelry firm as a head of marketing, and business development, which is 38-year-old, and it's a leading jewelry. I said, with that confidence, where the fellow men gave me, my father gave me, my husband gave me, they have, at every stage, I was privileged to work with among the men also, where they gave me opportunity to move and do what I believe I can influence the society. I can change as an influencer. I can be a change maker. When I started this at 10 years old back in next year, I would be completing my 10 years, early Jan. Another 6 more months, I have moved into the prominent management team, where I am the decision maker, and I play when I enforce my decisions. They have been accepted, and they have been really taking my and from when I started, this was only we had a database of 5,000 capacity as a database of our customer database I am mentioning here. From there, today, I can proudly say we are 80,000 plus on Facebook itself. So that itself, that confidence, and solely it's me as a head of marketing, and now into the bigger management, higher level, I have been achieving with my sheer confidence, and at the same time, learning. I have always put myself, ahead of times, and I keep questioning myself, like, if what can I do the best? Always I've been upgrading. I have been ahead of times. I have gone through, studied myself. I've put myself like what my customer needs are, and I have been always, you know, I've been giving them the best. So today I can say I have done. I'm achieving this with the sole confidence of always, you know, being empowered woman. I should say that we all should take this at a very early stage, right from the childhood. I have two children who have, like, you know, my child, first one is a master's degree from Hague, who was into international and public policy, and she's an economist working for PwC now as an intern, paid intern. She just came back from her masters, and second one is into the army. So I always believe that when, you know, as a, where I failed a little bit when I was young, I had given them the trump card to go and take up their decisions whenever they discuss. My daughter, during COVID, we all would be very scared to send them to Moscow. She was going as an intern to a very, very, like, you know, US, I should say, Moscow, where she was like alone with her. She was sent from the university. She went there, and everybody, even my family members, resisted me, saying, Moscow at this time, where there is literally, we know what is happening around the world. And you know, I said, if you can manage, if you can go by and do yourself something, and at least when you come back and contribute to the country where you are in, I would be glad. And in spite all the struggles and the, you know, hurdles at every stage, she came back and she was given a job in one of the leading, as a sustainable endorser and advertiser. And can you believe it is in one of the top MNCs in Singapore? And today, again, as a foreigner, if I say, if 20, I'm in 50s now, if India is my Janmabhoomi, where I have been taught with values, and you know, traditions are values, customs have made me what I am as a lady, if I have imbibed in me. Singapore, which is a very world-class, developed country, has given me 25 years of, another 25 years contributing to my own success as a woman. I can proudly say that it is my karma bhumi. With 25 and 25, today I can proudly say that I have really groomed myself. The confidence which was lacking at early age of my life has really, now I can say, what, why not? If I, you know, why not? We can always, every woman and every child, every girl child, no matter, don't even mention about gender parity and all that. As an endorser, as an influencer, if you can take it up, if you can, you know, as a mother, as a educator, as a contributor to the success of the community you live in and to the society you live in, when you do that personally, you can really be an influencer. And that, as a woman, as a mother, when your children see that, they have that confidence. When you are giving them the wings, that wings can make them fly high. That's what I can say. Let us not put all this, like, you know, at from the childhood. Okay, whatever you learn from the mistakes, what our parents have done, what our earlier generations have done, that let's move away from that. Let us break this barriers and go ahead. And as a woman, when you take that lead, you can surely, why, once, okay, maybe at one point you might fall down, people might put you down, but no, you can always tune yourself to be very confident. You can get up, you can raise up. When you yourself can do that, everybody seeing you around, maybe sometimes they might give you a hand, they can extend their hand to make you get up. Or from the circumstances what you have failed, you can yourself get up and you be a, you know, endorser. When you do that as a woman, I think we are sure one day it is an achievable goal throughout the world. It's only, like, you know, I must say that Honorable Modi ji is making a very great initiative where breaking the barriers himself in a very conducive, I should say, very close community, when he can influence certain, not taking any states or any uh, community, I should say. When he can do that, why not we? Taking all the efforts from the government and businesses, as an individual, when the community partners come in, and when individuals, as individuals, when we can take all the the things which come our way, when you can raise up as a phoenix, I think that's where we have achieved as women. That's what I believe strongly in. That is my own personal experience. And to take not much time of yours, I would just give me a minute. um, I have a meeting which is coming up. I'm so sorry. So, empowerment is a final pillar in building economies that work for women. Empowerment means ensuring that women have control over their own economic choices and discussions. This involves providing access to financial services such as credit card, saving accounts, promoting financial literacy. As Deepti ji has mentioned, and Narji, I think Ashraf ji has mentioned, when you are having the liberty of owning your own businesses, your own credit cards, and when you are playing a crucial role in setting up the companies or businesses, when you can do that, I think half of our vision is achieved. That's what I believe in. Additionally, we must support policies that enable work life balances, including affordable childcare, parental leave, and flexible working arrangements. When you yourself, as a woman entrepreneur, you have to endorse and you have to encourage all this. When you do all this in your workforce around you, you will be achieving your targets. So, by empowering women to make choices that align with their aspirations and responsibilities, we enable them to reach their full potential and contribute to the economic growth. So, why, as women, play a key role in the society and businesses? Inclusivity brings about diversity in perspectives and sets the ground for problem solving as we are in the face of shared challenges. Even one of the distinguished speakers spoke about the climate change. It enriches our community through shared experiences with people from diverse backgrounds and walk of lives, and also promotes the establishment and growth of different types of business. How it can be done? Promoting renewed policies within workforce to accommodate for different sets of needs, such as flexible and hybrid work arrangements for working parents and women who intend to become mothers. As this, I'm mentioning the young mothers and the young ladies who would like to also contribute. This could also include increased parental leaves for men in order to enable fathers to be more present and involved in the caregiving process. We have seen only women going for this maternal leaves and all that. Men hardly take. At the same time, when I emphasize on this, when women are given 4 months of leave, why don't you give the same to men also, so that they know the responsibility of raising a child and the difficulties we as women face? Encouraging occupational health and safety to ensure a conducive and safe work environment for minorities and women. Developing a work culture with mutual respect and boundaries to support women, those do not feel confident and in expressing their needs and voices their presence. So, okay, in conclusion, building economies that work for women is not only a matter of justice, but also a strategic imperative. It is an investment in our collective future, as well as reflections of our values and aspirations. Let us all join hands, advocate for change, and build a world where women can thrive economically, bringing their unique talents, perspectives, and strength to the forefront of our economies and contributing back to the community. Together, we can create a future of true gender equality and shared perspective. Finally, each of us has a responsibility to challenge gender norms, biases, and stereotypes. We must strive for a society where girls are encouraged to pursue their passions and dreams, and where women can celebrate for their achievements. By supporting and uplifting one another, we can create an environment that fosters equality and empowers women to reach new heights. So, when I call myself and as a theme, one earth, one family, and one future, this can be happen when we all hand in hand, when we walk and support as women. And when I see something in Ashraf, I was so happy that, like, Deepthi from, I have learned something today from Anar and Achla ji, then Ashraf ji, and I have learned today. I'm taking the key points with me as again to also grow myself and learn. This is what I'm giving today to you all and sharing. So don't give up the hope. As I said, Ashraf ji was asking in her questionnaire, like, today I can proudly say that at every level, I have been given the opportunity to work, and this was given to me by the men in my life. Thank you all so much for your time. I hope I could do well and meet up to your expectations. Thank you.
I'm so glad that questionnaire led you to this reflection and share, because your story was really inspiring, Padmaja ji.
I had muted. Okay, I really wanted to share my own experiences because, talking about uh, else achievements is not that. Like, when today we have all over the world, when we connected and we have many of women and men who are watching us, this should be a confidence. It can give, my own story can give a confidence, and someone can, if they can be learn from my own experience, when they can grow and when they achieve that, I think my goal and ambition is fulfilled. That's all I can say.
I think that could be one of the themes of the upcoming conferences, where women share their success stories and life stories, where people can get inspired from that. That would be so wonderful.
Yes, you're very right, Ashwati. We did it last year on stories of our own Wiki NRI Council Soul Sister Naji, if you remember.
Wow.
So, but we would be love if you can join us again next time, maybe Ashrafji.
That
And
would
we'll
be
do the same
wonderful.
again.
Yeah.
Shriji, you can take it forward. Can you hear us? Okay. I think Deepti ji wants to add a
Thank you
point
so
here.
much, Padmaji ji, for
Yes.
sharing your thoughts, incredible ideas, your remarks in regards to how women should be going forward and your life experiences. Thank you so much. Now let's keep moving. Just would like to inform all the audience that our next speaker is unable to make it due to constraints and weather restrictions in her country. So we will hear back from her in our upcoming next future webinars. So going forward, let me ask our Vice President Achila ji to take over and share her views on the theme today as well. So Achila ji, the stage is all yours now.
Thank you so much, Srinji. Before I start, I want to invite Deepti ji for a minute. I think she need to add one small point. So, Deepti ji, yeah,
Yes.
you can just
Thank you
unmute
very
it.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was wonderful listening to you, all wonderful ladies, and the success stories, personal success stories. Everybody has some story, but beautifully narrated and conceptualized by Padmajaji.
That's right.
I just wanted to add, sometimes it's been, misunderstood by women ourselves also. Women empowerment is somehow, I feel, this is my personal opinion, is not about it's not about strengthening a woman. Women is a very powerful and strong personality, anyways. It's just about changing the perception of the world towards their strength. So at the same time, I also want to add something which is sometimes taken as, weakness of a woman, or something which is raising a family, giving up some, basic, I would say, needs for those things. But I would consider those are powerful tools for a woman. Uh, it's a choice, and the choice is definitely done by a woman. So giving up something for the family, for the nation, for the society is a strength of a woman. And I think we should not be losing it while we are, what happens is sometimes when we are talking about walking with a man, we all have to, I feel we all have to also agree with that. We cannot be a man, and we do not need to be a man. We are two sides of a coin. We should be complementing each other, not uh, not to be competing with each other. That's all from my side. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू सो मच दीप्ति जी, वेरी वेल सेड। मेरे हिसाब से शायद एज अ वुमन मैं वो करना चाहूँगी जिसमें मुझे खुशी मिलती है। कोई ज़बरदस्ती मुझसे कुछ नहीं करा सकता। मैं वो करना चाहूँगी जैसे चाहे मैं घर सँभालूँ, चाहे मैं ऑफ़िस। दैट इज़ द वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट एज़ पर माय ओपिनियन। सो यू आर करेक्टली सेड दीप्ति जी। Shreenji, thank you so much for managing the event beautifully so far, and as always, from last 3 years she is doing this, and Shreenji is really a support system for me and Anarji, because we blankly leave the event on Shreenji, and she handle it so well every time, every time. Even I remember last night at 1 o'clock she was doing this all the all the introductions and everything what she has to say at last night 1 o'clock. So uh, literally thank you so much, Renji, from my side and from Ricky and NRI Council side. Previous speakers already spoke almost everything related to the topic. I'll share my opinion on women empowerment, but I would like to start a shlok from third chapter of ancient Manusmriti. Everyone knows. Yate narastu pujante ramante tatra devata, yatrastu na pujante sarvastata falakriya. Meaning, where women are respected and worshipped, there lives the God. Wherever they are disrespected, all action result in failure and do not bear any fruit. One more Manusmriti is there. Shochante jamyo yatra vinishchadashu tatuklam, na shochante tu yatrita vadate tati savada. The family in which women such as mother, wife, sisters, daughter are full of sorrow, that family meets its destruction very soon. People need to understand this. While the family in which they do not grieve is always prosperous. Women are an integral part of Indian history and culture, right from Bharat, ancient history, when we had several queens ruling several kingdoms of India, struggle for independence, to being the fastest growing economy in the world. Women have played every strong and decisive role in shaping narratives across capacities. India under the able leadership of Prime Minister Modi ji. There have been concreted efforts to ensure meaningful representation across profession and empowerment of women at the lower rung of social strata. These initiatives are beyond the realms of gender equality as well. They espouse to motivate women to take up a fresh challenge and inspire women to chase their dream in a secure environment. Current government has gone out of its way to enlarge women's role in highest rung of decision making in the country. The policy intervention by government have equipped and empowered women to take on leadership role in communities, organizations, and households. India is currently having maximum ministers and elected representatives at all levels of governments. There are several key schemes initiated by government to further empower women in society, but I don't want to prolong my speech to hours and hours again. Empowering women is not just a choice, but in current digital era, it's a necessity, because it's about improving outcomes, finding solutions, investing in healthier communities, stronger economies, and achieving the sustainable development goals. The principle of gender equality is always a part of Constitution of India, and the government have always been committed to promote gender equality in every sector and all level of governments. The G20 presidency provides India the right platform to showcase its efforts towards the social upliftment of women, However, it is the most opportune time to also bring to the center stage some recent measures to economically empower women, which have been undertaken in silos and not received the deserved attention. These measures, taken in the line with global best practice, have the power to change the enabling ecosystem for women-led development. G20 Empower 2023 under India's presidency is prioritizing the shift from women development to women-led development, as mentioned before with my other speakers. It aims to transform challenges into opportunities, accelerating the shift towards women-led entrepreneurship and greater inclusion of women in the workforce. It's really great to listen all of you today here on this platform. I must say that all of you have focused few main points to cover today's topic, namely education, training, digital skilling, sustainable financing, and equal pay for equal work are some of the factors that will drive women employment. I want to speak a lot on this issue, but this is my favorite topic, but time is essence. And before closing my speech, on behalf of organizing team, I would like to thank Vicky RRI Council team and System of Future Foundation team and Shrishti Bharat team. I want to thank our keynote speaker, Radhanya Deepti ji, Ashraf ji, for joining us today. Ladies who are listening now, and many of the ladies who will listen our recorded video from YouTube later on must have benefited today. Thank you so much, Susmita ji, Padmaja ji, Naomi ji, for joining us today. Again, thank Shrishti Bharat and System of Future Foundation for supporting this event. I need to thank our technical team and backend team for giving all the possible efforts. And thank you, Shrinji, once again. Thank you so much from my side. Shrinji, over to you for a beautiful quote.
Thank you, everyone.
To wrap up this session, I would like to thank each and every one of you for being on this show today and taking this opportunity and letting worldwide women know what exactly we wanted them to know with this theme. So, thank you so much, everyone. And special thanks again to Anarji and Achalaji for giving me this opportunity. Before I say a last goodbye to all of you, I would like to end this webinar with a quote by Shirley Chisholm. And also, this has been said by Padmaja ji saying, take up a stand, stand for yourself. So, this is what she said. If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. So, from increasing diversity in the workplace, which leads to increased productivity, to boosting business equality, creating opportunity for everyone. So, stand and claim your seat today. So, I would see you again in yet another webinar next time. See you, all of you, and bye bye from my side. And see you again.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you. It
everyone.
was
Thank you,
wonderful.
everyone.
Thank
Thank
Thank you
you
so
you.
so
much.
much.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Looking forward to.